Docs365 Chart Studio, a web app for creating charts and especially animated charts using GIFs. So let's start by going here and maximize the workspace. Go to the chart editor, create a new chart document. All these can be changed later. Let's start with a pie chart. Create the document. You will see there are two parts here. The left part is where the chart is going to show, and the right is the data part. I can change that layout up here. Okay, but the next step is to import some data. I can import from a Google spreadsheet, a CSV file, or I can just paste text, tabulated text, or I can generate some demo data. I'm going to use that now. So here I get some data, 3 columns, city, 2017 and 2018. Notice there is one row called new frame here. That means I will actually create a second frame with the same columns here. They're going to show, that's going to be visible in a second here. So I have imported the data. As you can see, I see the first frame here, 2017 and 18, New York to Los Angeles. I have my pie chart. I have up here, I have frame 1 of 2. So I go to frame 2, I see the 2019-2020 data. You can add as many of these frames as you want. And the idea here is that you then can animate the changes from one frame to the other. I can preview that with this button here. It will generate the GIF, and I will see how the data changes from frame 1 to frame 2. So there it is. This is just a preview with a tinier size. Okay, that was step 1, showing in 2 frames. The frames can actually be seen over here. If I have more frames, they will of course be shown here too. Let's change a few properties of this chart. I can go to the colors sidebar. I can pick from different color lists, and let's pick the Mary Poppins one. I can just say use that one as the color list, or I can go back and pick one of the D3 ones, this one, use that one. So you can quickly change your color list. You can actually edit that color list completely. Go to the document properties. Here you can see the color list being used. I can just say edit color list, and then I can go here and remove some of the colors, add colors, change colors, whatever. You can add different annotations to a chart. You can draw stuff or add things from palettes. So here is the callouts palette. I can look at other things like arrows, but let's go back to the callout and pick, let's see, this particular callout. Resize it a little bit like that. Perhaps change the text to be look here, and then the unique feature here is that if I go to the next frame here, see I don't have a call out. I can copy this one to the next frame. There, it actually went to frame 2 now, so if I go back and forth, I have the same call out. If I move this instance, I can make whatever changes I want to here. You go back and see I have 2 callouts. Then when you generate the GIF, it will actually animate the movement from one frame to another. We can have a quick look at how that's going to look like by generating the transition GIF. Takes a few seconds, and you will see how that's going to look like. There you see the call out moving. let's add another thing here. Let's add an arrow too. Let's take this arrow and perhaps do something like this. I'm not sure. I can just show you how also you can change properties by, I can drag this red or green color here, there, and drop it on the arrow. I can then, this is frame 1, so I do the same thing here. I copy that one to the next frame. I can now change the arrow to, let's see, it should perhaps point over here then, I don't know. And in this case I will also change the color to this red color. I'll go back and see how it looks like, and then we can generate the final GIF. I can specify the size here, how long the last frame should freeze, etc. So click generated GIF, and you will now see how both the callout and the arrow animates from frame 1 to frame 2. You can also see how the color of the arrow 1 is animated from the green to the red. You can of course change almost anything. The data can be changed by just clicking here in the table, and I say I want to have New York Gush or whatever. That only changes that that frame though, so if you make a change like that, you might have to go to every single frame. You can change, of course, the type of chart. You go to properties. This is important that if you make a change that you apply it to all frames. So I have a pie. Let's change that to a column chart then. And then you'll see I have a column chart here instead. Everything is of course undoable, so I can just undo that change and go back to my pie chart. I can make that a 3D pie. I can change the start angle. I can add a hole to it. That doesn't work for a 3D though, so let's go back to non-3D. So that's a little bit how you can change properties using this property sidebar and inline editing the data over here. So when you are ready to publish your chart, you click the generate animated GIF, you specify the size, how the transition should look like, you generate the GIF, takes a few seconds, and when that's done, now I can just say upload to Google Drive, or I can right click here and I can save this image to my local hard drive. So that's a quick overview of some of the features in Chart Studio. Enjoy.